The tennis show. We're back.
Yeah.
10-ish o'clock.
10-ish.
10-ish.
10:30.
Hey, you were here. It's my fault. It's my fault. I tried to give Shea more time.
We can get better there.
No, I like it. I
said this morning 9:30, which means we would have started about 10.
Right, that's what I should have. I should have known that you're kind of like me on the schedule, where it's like 9:30 means I'm leaving at 9:30.
Yeah.
I thought you meant leave the house at 10.
Yeah. I was like, what do you mean we're starting? Like, what do you mean at 10?
Yeah, Lloyd called me last week and he was like, Are you Stewie on the way or are you Lloyd?
I don't know.
And I was like, what is Lloyd on the way? And he was like,
you haven't left yet.
Yeah, I'm still in the bed, but I'm about to leave.
Right, yeah, it's time to go.
I was like, I'm actually Stewie on the way.
Yeah, he's here.
I'm knocking on the door, open it.
Yeah, I'm the other way around where they're looking for me, like, where you at? Like, oh, I'm on the road. That means I'm just getting up to get into my car.
Just got onto I-10, actually.
Yeah, that means I'm leaving my driveway. Yeah. Anyway, welcome in. Recruiting Power Hour-ish. Shea Diesel, sponsored by Lance Beal, attorney at law. I think we have a spot for Lance Beal to run at some point. Shout out Lance Beal. Shout out On 3. Look at the gear. Apparently they're stingy with it because I can't get a hoodie.
Yeah. Oh, you can buy it?
I didn't pay for the account I have.
Yeah, so
this is a trade.
Just be happy.
Deal.
Give and get. Shea, thank you for coming in. As always, it's 3rd edition. We'll get better or worse every time. No clue.
Sorry.
How was your weekend? Takeaways from the weekend? How was the game?
Game was good. I did not predict them to win, and they won, so they defied the odds that I had set out for them. Really, I was just following Vegas. I think I picked them to lose by 3.
Oh,
I just feel like if I ride Vegas every week, I can't be that wrong.
You can't be wrong. Or you could go the Scott Van Pelt route where you're like, I'm just going to take the points every time, and then eventually it'll level out.
Well, that's what I've done. I was wrong about Florida State, and I was wrong about State. So
are you gambling at all? You can't.
No, I'm not. Well, I mean, I would never gamble on LSU football. It's too unpredictable.
Same.
We're too different. That's where we. I'm a big catch me in the tunnel at halftime trying to get some service.
Just catching some Wi-Fi.
Yeah, trying to get a little second half. LSU's a second half team.
Does this damn thing work?
Yeah. Get me in the club. Where's Marwan? Get me on the field.
You know those fan review things that nobody probably ever fills out? Lloyd does, and he's writing Scott Woodward about Wi-Fi at halftime.
They sent me the email. Where's Airmark? This food sucks. I'm just trying to put my bed in.
Food's too expensive here.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say about the food. I just want to talk to you about the Wi-Fi experience I had.
You have no idea how much money you could be bringing in, Scott, if you let people gamble on the games at half. Just give me a kiosk in Tiger Stadium.
Ooh.
Oh, that thing would be longer than the bathroom.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, unbelievable. Anyway, let's get to some recruiting. And we talked a little hit on the LSU game on Saturday. I wanted to see what you thought, early returns on the freshman that got out there. Obviously, Emory Jones gets his first start at right tackle. Freshman because he only signed, 15 guys?
15 high school guys, yeah.
15 high school guys.
And like 17 or 18 transfers.
That you see all over the field.
No doubt.
But I want to hit more on the freshmen that were able to play because they seem to be making the more flash impact. You see Emory Jones. I didn't know that we sounded to be a special teams ace, but there you have him back there. That's something he has in his back pocket.
Great open field tackler.
I didn't know if you had that on the recruiting highlights.
We did.
Yeah.
We knew. If you ever put him out in space.
Space eater.
Player.
Yeah. 5-star.
Hey, we talked all offseason that Emory Jones would play early.
Just didn't know it was going to be on special teams. But
well, all right. Yeah. But that we said it. I mean, Will Campbell and Emory Jones are 2 of the better O-line prospects they've signed, both from Louisiana too, which helps. But anyone who saw Emory Jones play at Catholic knew he was going to, had the chance to play early on. And gosh, sets up well because it was a good class last year. It's a good class this year on the O-line. You've got a head coach in Brian Kelly, who's got a track record of developing NFL O-linemen. So that's one spot that I think maybe LSU fans haven't always felt great about. Like, it's not like LSU's churning out first-rounders on the O-line every year. And now they're kind of recruiting to that level, and you hope that the production, or I guess I should say development, kind of follows Kelly from Notre Dame to here.
Which is what you hope to see, because I've made this comparison before where I said what you got with Coach O on the defensive line, where he was able to stockade that end of the on the defensive side, that defensive line, that's where he made his money, right? Like, he was able to bring in guy after guy. We're like, all right, we know LSU's defensive front is going to be good. It feels like you're getting that same thing with Brian Kelly, just on the offensive side.
You hope, right? And that's a good start that you can put Will Campbell and Emory Jones out there early on against an SEC team that does have a good front seven, an experienced front seven, which Emory and Will Campbell are not, and they still held their own, no sacks.
Which is exactly what you want to see, because you have been, obviously there's been some debate about the quarterback play, whether he could hang in there a little bit longer, make some throws. That's for a different show. But to keep on what happened with the game, did you any early returns from recruits that visited?
Yeah. Oh, Ellis Robinson and Desmond Ricks were two of the big ones. Two kids out of IMG, teammates. One, Ricks is the number 1 corner in the country on the On3 consensus, and Ellis Robinson is number 2. So about as good as you can get if you're trying to build towards the future at DBU. And I've said before that the goal with kids who are juniors in high school, who are a year plus away from making a decision in terms of signing, is just get them around as much as possible, right? And then if you can, get their parents, around as well before you get into the official visit stretch. And you got to remember with IMG kids that, for instance, Ricks is from Virginia, I think, and Robinson's from Connecticut, or maybe it's flipped. We could Google that.
It's in the doc.
Yeah, it's in the doc. Okay, look it up. Point being, it's not like, and point being, their parents were both like, Robinson brought his dad. Ricks brought both his parents and his sister. It's not like they all live in Texas and they drive over. Like
right.
The IMG kids come over, and then their parents come from really different pockets of the country on their own dime for a game like that, where it's not even like an official visit where you're spending the whole weekend there and going out to dinners all the time and all that. It was, hey, we want to see what the school has to offer. We want to have a little bit of time with the coaches, and the boys got to do all their photo shoots and all that. They had a cool one at the top of Tiger Stadium. I saw.
Say, what a picture!
The Mississippi River Bridge in the background and the river at sunset. So they kind of rolled out, they rolled out the red carpet for a couple 2024 kids, and were doing things kind of they hadn't done with anybody else. And I guess that's part of recruiting, ever evolving. But I would say that if you're an LSU fan, you love it. They won the game. The defense looked good. The kids were there with their folks, and they stayed until late Sunday. So kind of an extended unofficial visit that I think you got to feel good about.
Maybe a little bit of a late night. We'll celebrate a win. We talk a lot about, at least on this show, where we've had, it doesn't matter. Recruits don't really play the result if LSU wins or loses, but I feel like I'm going to kind of contradict myself. It feels like
you were buying into what I've told you is they don't care about that.
Right, but it feels like whenever you're on the field for a win
the
like
point
that.
The point of that is they don't care about as losses as much, right?
But wins feel great.
But wins always feel great. But like a loss isn't going to make or break anything. They lost to Florida State. They came back Mississippi State, and we're talking about them getting big names on campus and trending with different kids. So, yeah, losses are not going to kill anybody. A lot of losses aren't good, but losses, especially tough, close-fought games, are not going to be make or break for any recruit.
And I feel like a win at home when you're in, you kind of – because what they've been selling a lot, at least from what I've heard of the public perception and what Brian Kelly continues to mention, is how much they're selling Tiger Stadium and the experience in Death Valley. So whenever you get to see the place that I feel like it was kind of rocking.
It wasn't packed, but it wasn't sold out like Southern.
Right.
Like where you couldn't see any empty seats, but it was rocking.
Right.
And the people who came stayed all 4 quarters, and it got loud.
And that's where I think that's kind of a good thing. That's where LSU is right now, where it's kind of I don't want to say a rebuild, but it's just like you're bookending one era of LSU football, and now it feels like you're starting a whole new book with the Brian Kelly chapter.
You are.
Essentially. So for people who are buying in and want to stay there all 4 quarters, you see LSU be able to make a massive comeback. Anything that you want to hit on other than what you saw at the game?
Well, yeah, let's talk. My buddy Charles Power, who runs our national rankings and scouting, did his weekly, I guess, freshman All-Americans, however you want to call it, freshman of the week. And Will Campbell made the team, and Emory Jones got a little hat tip there as well for starting with him. Neither of them gave up a sack, as we talked about. And then, as you mentioned in the story, Campbell was the highest graded tackle in the SEC this past week. So, and I don't think Jones was all that far off, but it feels good that you see Campbell really settling in now. Started 3 straight games. It looks like he's going to hold that position at left tackle for his entire freshman season, which would probably mean you don't have any real reason to believe he would ever let go of it, barring injuries. So you're about to get a lot of football out of Will Campbell and Emory Jones maybe as well. And then Harold Perkins made it.
That's where I was
for doing a little bit of everything out there. He was rushing. He was kind of playing that jack linebacker role, or was in on nickel and dime looks, but I think they've got him in roles as a freshman where it's kind of simple, right? It's
don't
like
think just
see ball,
play.
get ball type thing, and they rushed him up the middle on the edges, and he didn't look like an 18-year-old. I mean, 5 tackles, 6 tackles. He had
1.5
sack
sacks.
and a half or
Yeah.
whatever. I think he had 4 hurries. But it's clear that, we had this question when Will Campbell started the year first. He was like, and Mason Taylor was in that game a lot too, but everyone was like, well, what about Emory? And it was, well, give it till about mid-season. Well, that only took till week 3. And then everybody said, well, what about Harold Perkins? Because he didn't play much in the first game, and it was like special teams where they were knocking heads and getting flags.
A couple personal fouls, but he was rolling people up. Like he
had to have a little talk with Coach Kelly on the sidelines about keeping your head in it.
Well, maybe he played a little bit on defense.
But then his role expanded against Southern, and now we saw in a big SEC game they were playing him from start to finish in different spots. So
and at times where you had to have him.
Yeah, 100%. So he's going to be a big part moving forward.
And
so that's 3 Mason Taylor, 4 freshmen that you're leaning on pretty heavily here out of the gates.
And that's what I wanted to ask you about. When you have recruits in the stadium that see so much early playing time or so many freshmen getting early playing time, does that influence anybody a little bit for if they're considering, look, LSU, they're not afraid to play young guys. There's
100%.
obviously spots available, especially when they have so many additions to the transfer portal that won't be here for long.
Yeah, no, that's the other part of it is I think a lot of kids look at transfers, and sometimes transfers have only spent a year elsewhere. But you kind of get that mindset of like, oh, they're a transfer, so they're almost done with college, so they won't even be there for long, until I get there. So, yeah, I think they look at that, but more so kind of if you're pitching, oh, yeah, come in and play, you look at the depth chart. But then it's reassuring when you do see guys like, oh, they have a bunch of O-linemen, a lot of experience. Like, they have guys who have started games for LSU before that are on the bench, right? So even if the depth chart isn't wide open, you can come in and compete and earn a spot, and that's what kids care about.
Right. It feels like none of the lineup is really necessarily written in stone.
No.
There's opportunities to play everywhere. A couple of people offers over the weekend. First one I want to get to is Arion Carter, earned an LSU 4-star linebacker. Any thoughts on him?
I got to pull up your thing because I want to follow along with you here because we're about to roll through this.
Yeah, we're about to get to it. Well, you usually send me like a little rundown sheet, a text, but I took the reins today.
Carter's a kid out of Smyrna. He's a 4-star and really is blown up as right now. So he committed to Memphis at the end of the summer in July when that was when LSU was really hot on the recruiting trail. But let's see. Chad Simmons just did a story on Carter. In the last 6 days, he's committed to Memphis. Mind you, Auburn. These are offers in 6 days. Auburn, Bama, Kentucky, LSU, Michigan, Tennessee, Southern Cal. Safe to say his senior film got across a few desks and looks the part. So, yes, if we're thinking about they need linebackers, they have one in Weeks. In Whit Weeks, West Weeks' little brother, who's played some, looked good actually as a backup linebacker for LSU. He's a 4-star, kind of about to crack that top 200 range, but they don't have anyone else. We've talked about Jonathan Baxter and Nakar they're warming up to, and then they make the offer to Carter. So we'll see if he ends up he's going to now have to start thinking about visits, and it seems like his options are increasing by the day. So we'll see kind of where LSU fits into that. But
we talked a little bit about it off air, but the importance of putting your tape out there so that coaches can find it. If you're a recruit, be visible.
There's no recruits listening to this, but if you are, write your name and your Twitter and your link to your huddle. All this. Don't make it hard for us to find. Not me, but I'm just trying. Me and Stewie are just trying to find kids to talk about on the show, and we can't do it. I can only imagine how tough that makes it for a coach who didn't even know how to use Twitter and is looking for
55 years old over here.
Can't say this damn kid's name.
What's his name? That's his nickname. All right.
Big Stunna 38 _ for life.
Yeah, 4-star. Put it on the back of the jersey. I don't care. Get him here. But whenever you have early playing time available and you see some of these offers rolling in, is there a position of need that you feel like LSU is kind of making a press on where they want to get that maybe be more emphasized than others?
I think corner is a bit of because you've got all these transfers who are older, so you're going to need to start relying on some younger guys, and we'll talk about Toviano, I'm sure, but he'd be one that I'd put up there, even though they have some corners committed. But I think it's linebacker. It's one. I think they have 5 guys right now, like Mike Jones and Penn, or guys we aren't even talking about because we're talking about the backups, Baskerville, and who's in his final year, and then Harold Perkins, and Weeks has played some. So They've got Colby Fields. You signed Tolan, but I just feel like when you get past this year, like it's Mike Jones is a senior, I think, right? Baskerville's a senior. Those guys are starting to get a little bit older, so I would think you want a little more depth there, and you only have one commitment in weeks. So I think that's kind of why they're keeping an eye on some of these guys and handing out new offers.
You talked a little bit about corner. Obviously, a bunch of 2024 cats were in the building.
Yeah.
When you have the 2 5-stars, I know that's kind of fast forwarding to like skipping a year a little bit, but where do you see the interest level of LSU? Like, does that game move the needle at all?
100%. But you just want to be in the conversation. For a
Right.
junior in high school who's not from Louisiana, you want to have an offer in. You want them to have come to campus. Like, Ricks has now visited campus, the number one corner in the country. This year, he's visited LSU more than any other school, 3 times. So every visit like that counts, right? And then you've brought your mom and dad, and now you are staying an extra day and all this stuff. So 100% stock up. Now, does that mean they're getting us commitment? No. I mean, that's so far away. But
And it would really...
all you want to do is put yourself into that very top group of teams. Publicly, he's not whittling down a list. He doesn't have to right now. He's got 1 million offers. But who
swipe,
is he
swipe right on me.
Who's he
Or
actually
left. Which one is
focused
it?
on?
Tinder?
You should know this kind of stuff, Lloyd.
No, I'm a taken man. Left is good or bad?
Left is no, right is good.
All right, swipe right on me. Just let me be in the conversation. Show me you're interested.
I'm glad you're not a coach and you've done swipe the wrong way on all the best prospects.
Wait, actually, I don't want any of these people.
I think all you want to do is just be in that top group.
Absolutely.
That's the goal, is to settle into that behind the scenes, the teams where he's like, okay, these are the kind of teams I'm really into.
And we talked about linebacker. LSU kind of has their eyes on 3-star. Now, depends on where you're looking. Obviously, we went through why LSU drops in the, some people thought 5 stars or 4 stars just because they signed with LSU. Not the case, on 3 consensus. But 3-star linebacker committed to TCU, Jonathan Bax.
Bax, B-A-X.
Was he on campus or is he?
He came in for the Southern game.
Okay.
But then has talked about how LSU's starting to really talk to him a good bit more. Senior evals are going on right now. He's had a good start for Carr this year. And TCU always makes good evals in Louisiana. They've been on him for a bit. So, in fact, I think right now, beyond Bama, like TCU and Baylor obviously with Aranda and a lot of that staff has Louisiana ties, LSU ties. They're both doing a good job. In Nebraska, obviously, with Mickey. Baylor and TCU are 2 that do a good job of evaling all the kids and getting on guys, who are big name players who end up being very solid players at the next level. So that's one to watch. Bax is.
All right, and we have a couple of Shays rolling in through the chat. Get them in when you can. We will get through all of them because, like I said, we're very prepared on this show.
Yeah, we can speed around that.
Yeah, absolutely. First one up, Hunter Fournette, always my guy. Always. Shout out. Tackett Curtis decommitted. That's what he's telling me.
Did he really?
No, he's not. He's still committed. But I did have to go to his Twitter and go check. No, his real first Shea, 4-star defensive tackle in Florida.
I thought, and for those just tuning in, that's an ongoing joke here. Hunter's playing into my inability to keep up with anything that's going on.
I was unplugged. So Shea didn't know. That was I guess a month ago whenever Shea was on his leave of absence. He wasn't keeping up with recruiting, didn't know Tackett Curtis committed to USC, and he was shocked. And so we still play that joke around here. But
he got me. Hunter just got me. I was Googling. I was like, really?
I had to go to Tackett Curtis' Twitter. First things pinned that said, I want to change the culture at USC. So good luck with that.
He's not decommitted. That is a firm commitment.
Firm commitment. I mean, can you blame
That's
him?
a double down.
He spent 2.5 hours with the strength staff. That's all you needed. Give him,
I missed all that.
Yeah.
Missed all.
That's strength and conditioning for old Tackett.
Yeah.
I don't know if he put a name in here, but he said 4-star defensive tackle in Florida that LSU was rumored to be trending for. Haven't heard anything since what happened. I need a name to ask. But I don't know if that helps you at all.
Got me playing guessing games.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I went in here blind. I know he doesn't have a name. But
not even the poster?
No, it was Hunter Fournette again.
Oh, Hunter again. Maybe is he trolling again?
No. But we'll skip past that one. Go to the next one.
Pinbo was the IMG kid. Samuel Pinbo, the 5-star, but he's a D end or an edge rusher. Didn't he say DT?
Yeah.
He's talking maybe
Jordan
Hall?
He's probably talking about Jordan Hall, I would think. Kid out of Jacksonville. He's like a top 10 D lineman. I think Georgia's considered the team that everybody thinks he's going to. That would be my guess.
Yeah, last name Hall. Okay, anyway.
They're recruiting him.
Yeah. Next, good. LSU's in the game.
Still in the game.
Next, ask Shea, do you think that Jaylen Brown could flip? Also, the big question that everybody has to – we're going to do this one weekly also. It's going to be a Taggart Curtis joke, and then there's going to be
Harbor question?
A Harbor question.
He just went to – let me pull him up. I think he was at South Carolina for his official visit this past weekend. They didn't look great.
No.
If anything, if I'm Georgia, I'm calling up Nicholas Harbor and asking if he liked what he saw out there.
You think you could? Yeah. Do you think there's some room on the defensive line
After
for me?
South Carolina paid for your visit weekend, would you like to come over to
Or in the tight
Athens
end room.
now?
Yeah. Walk.
God.
Yeah. I mean, that's another spot with. I mean, obviously, we don't. A Reed Gilbert situation seems to be obviously somewhat serious. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so we'll see if he shows up for that Tennessee game. There was that whole talk about like he's got a game and he wouldn't be able to make it anymore. But Michigan is this weekend, and he still says he wants to take all 5. So he's got an On3 article coming off his South Carolina visit. He says, I'll try to take all 5. If schedule permits it, then I'm doing it. If it doesn't, I'll definitely get at schools I feel like are best for me and my family feels are the best. Some of my officials are going to run into December, so no decision coming like right now or anytime soon.
And it doesn't sound like if it's running into December, not an early enrollee.
Because he says is if with high school, if we get into the playoffs, and then I'm shutting that down and focusing on football, and then I'll pick back up on recruiting. So I think the thing to note here is like everybody right now is trying to roll out the red carpet on track too.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that's where LSU, you'd imagine, has like the inside lane on being able to push track.
Big time track school.
Yeah, I mean, win national championships all the time, and nobody ever talks about it.
And there is that notion, at least from him, that he wants a shot at playing tight end.
Which LSU is
Room in the tight end room for you.
room in the tight end room for Old Harbor if you want to get him out there, because you could see the load that they're putting on Mason Taylor right now. It's a lot, where he's kind of almost being asked to do too much. It feels like at times.
And I don't think he's ruled out defensive line, but he's number 1 athlete in the country, keeping his options open.
Yeah, that's an understatement. If there ever was a number 1 athlete, look him up. He's carved out of granite.
10-200 is just crazy at that size.
Oregon QB commit left the BYU game early. Have you seen this?
No, but Oregon was winning.
Yeah, they started chanting "fuck the Mormons."
And is this kid a Mormon?
Probably so.
I don't know if like the way that the Oregon crowd was reacting to that. He said that their dad pulled him off the sidelines and they went home. So I don't know who the Oregon quarterback commit is, but if
It wasn't Dante Moore, huh?
I wouldn't.
That's a good. I mean, that's the only Oregon quarterback commit.
Well, LSU's in the game for him.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he kind of seemed they had settled into Oregon after making that call.
Scoop duck. Let's get here.
Is there some? Where are we hearing this? Is this just in the comments?
This is from Daniel Glenn in the comments.
Yeah, I don't see anything in like the.
Hey, I'm just taking questions from the people, because this is what this segment is. It's a big Ask Shea segment. Always worked well with Culotta, and it works well here because the people are always going to have an ongoing interest in recruiting, no matter what time of year it is. Obviously, shifting gears a little bit. Toviano to the boot.
I'm
trends
still
again.
Googling over here.
I mean, that would be like a barstool.com to be able to find a Oregon BYU chant. Is that what anybody Googled?
I don't see anything on the Oregon page on the.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm on ESPN.com. BYU grateful for those who are willing to come together. Thanks, Oregon, for its apology after anti-Mormon chants at football game. So it happened. Don't know how it impacted the recruiting. So we'll move along from that because, I mean, what a chant.
Oh, yeah, it definitely happened. Here we go. Okay. This looks like a Sports Illustrated link. High school quarterback TC Manumaluena. This is a kid from Salem.
Oh, that's a big
So
Mormon
I think
community.
I think they just described him as an Oregon quarterback recruit, so he's not actually committed there. No, he's not committed there, but he does have an offer. Does have an Oregon offer, so that would be noteworthy. He's a quarterback for next year,
Okay.
so that's why.
2024.
So yes, this did happen. He and his family left the game, and the kid is Mormon, and he said, "I would never cross him off the list, but I'd be lying if it didn't say it kind of had some kind of impact on me." Watch what you say, fans.
They're
Especially
listening.
if you're acting out dumb like that.
Yeah, and LSU's not above anything.
Yeah,
And
I
so,
mean-
we're next
Oh,
on. I
man.
would say LSU,
I
but LSU
mean-
fans might be next on the list.
It doesn't take after any other type, religion or anything. But
Yeah.
STT whatever B is.
I had an
I don't know if the parents love hearing that one.
We'll get the fuck you Saban for sure this year.
Absolutely. Well, I had an 8-year-old screaming "suck that tiger dick, bitch" after the muff punt, and I was like, "They're raising them right." I did this. This kid's been sitting in front of me for 3 years.
I'm sure recruits' parents don't love hearing that.
No, but
The recruits do.
I don't
just
know.
they're invested in the program. They want to see it do well.
They like the team.
Yeah, they like the team.
Yeah, I'm sure the 18-year-olds think it's cool.
Yeah, that's
sure.
what you're trying to get.
Not worried about the parents.
No.
All right.
No.
We ain't recruiting mama.
I'm getting too old for y'all, I
Talk
think.
to it, daddy.
Yeah, well, you're in the booth, dude. You're up there with all the Diet Cokes and
Diet Coke? Who's drinking Diet Coke?
the press box.
Yeah, I'm drinking Coca-Cola.
Oh, I know, but the old sports writers, that's the old
Yeah.
thing.
Got a
Like everybody
deadline
gets
over here.
Yeah, they get the Diet Coke and they get upset when the food's cold. I worked at the Northwestern State press box. That's all anybody ever bitched about. It's like, where's the food up here? It's
Well-
like, they got it from Rouse's like 6 hours ago, dude. Like, it's going to be terrible. Because you get what you get. It's
Finger sandwiches.
56-0. Write your article
Nobody's
and
drinking
get out of
Diet
here.
Coke, Lloyd.
It's all Coke?
Coca-Cola, straight Coca-Cola.
Straight Coca-Cola.
I go Sprite.
Or Sprite. They got Dr. Pepper up there, whatever you need.
On that little drink machine, right?
It's free, all you want.
Yeah, all you can eat, bro.
That's why you go up there.
I drink like 4 or 5 sips, and if it even starts to get watered down, I throw it away and get a new one.
Yeah,
Oh, my
See, I
God.
learned this at the spring game. Because Ron, he was like,
Shout out Ron
"I'm going
Don.
in the press box." And I was like, "What's in the press box?" And he was like, "Food." I was like, "Oh, free food." So we went to the press box.
And all you can drink.
Yeah,
all
or
you
you
can
can
drink.
drink Coke
Coca-Cola.
and whatever else you want.
So you throw the whole thing out, new ice, new Coke.
100%
Are they little cups?
big.
No, it's big
See, they need
cups.
to do, you just need the sipper. You
Yeah.
need like the 10 ounce.
And they've got really bad insulation on them. They'll start leaking everywhere quickly.
Bottom falls out.
Nope. I do the
Double
napkin in between the double cup.
Ah.
And even then, I'm only carrying it for like 10 minutes and I'm tossing it.
I feel so bad that you have to sit up there, to be honest. I just feel like that would not be fun at all. If
No.
I'd sit there.
good.
You can't tailgate. Sit there. Everybody
It's air
around you
conditioned.
is straight up just debauchery. No, all around the gate. Like, you don't tailgate, so you just get there like 30 minutes before.
It's a working environment.
Yeah.
No cheering in the press box. son.
Real professional.
I am.
I'd probably get kicked out.
No doubt. I couldn't make
Like,
it a second.
First, 5 minutes.
If I see you up there, Lloyd, I'm kicking you out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
If you see me with any
call
sort of press
security.
pass or lanyard, it's fake. Like,
Call
I
security.
don't even know how you got there.
Ron Higgins is gonna
Yeah.
get him out of here.
I want a deadline. Oh, yeah. Like, they didn't even like me whenever I was in there at Northwestern. I was watching the LSU game on my phone just actively when I was supposed to be charting the plays. I was like, I don't care about this. I'm sorry. I didn't ask to be here. Y'all needed a hand. I can clean up after. I was just watching LSU Troy and watch the first play, first fumble. I was like, fuck. And then they're like, what? That's going on? I was like, oh, sorry. Watch the LSU game. My bad.
What a night.
What a night. Almost came back and won it. But anyway, speaking of social media and what's been trending on Twitter, Toviano to the boot starts trending again for LSU.
Yep.
Any action on that front?
I don't have a pick in yet. Nobody's made a pick on 3 yet.
How does
but
that decision work? Are you a follow the crowd? Are you trying to do you take that? Obviously, you take it seriously. And you want to have real information, but you're not going to be right every time. So
I'd
how
like to be,
absolutely, but
which means waiting until I'm sure.
But he did, in this article on On3, he did say he made a decision before.
He
the
did.
season.
So
So he knows where he wants to go. but
I'll
he just
put
hasn't
you in
announced.
the mindset I'm in right now. Okay, you ready? Close your eyes, Lloyd.
mind melding.
So Toviano has visited LSU as much as any other school this year since Brian Kelly and them got here.
Mm-hmm.
He visits in late July for the Bayou Cookout or Splash, whatever that was.
Oh, the party at Brian Kelly's house.
the hangout with kind of a who's who of recruits.
Yeah,
He's there.
They had jet skis in the pool.
Yeah, the next day The next day it goes dead period. Or once they leave, it's a dead period. Lasts a month. As soon as the dead period ends, he's back at LSU in the Joe Burrow jersey on the sidelines, hanging out, watching him play Southern for the home opener. So he ends July right before the dead period by visiting LSU. He opens up August or September when it ends by visiting LSU. And he says that in that time, late August, he made his decision. And he's feeling good about it. And now, you can read these articles on 3. Shameless plug. Bengal Tiger on 3, $1 for a year. You should just pay $1 to read all of Toviano's quotes and my thoughts on it, let alone everything else you'll get for 364 days. Well, 365. There's other stuff to do today on there you could read. Shameless plug.
Not shameless.
Shameless
Plug.
Not shameless. I'm confident in what I'm saying here.
$1.
If you have not signed up, it's $1 for a year. Stewie spent his $1. He's on there.
I didn't spend mine.
And you know what? And exactly. And Stewie shows up prepped every day and ready.
Yeah, he's ready. He's on 3 every day.
And he's excited to talk about it and what we've got going on.
I'm excited to talk about it.
I saw your spreadsheet. Yeah,
I'm on it. I'm on the game, coach. I can't keep up with it. I don't understand how you do your job. There's so many to get into the mind of a 16, 17.
Okay, well, I've taken you into the mind right now. So you've sandwiched a couple of visits to LSU around when you said you made your decision, right? And he hasn't visited any other school since June. It's just been LSU. I made my decision. LSU again. Now he's talking about I want to take some visits, but he's saying it very honestly of, hey, look, I only get to do this once. It's my opinion that recruits should take their 4 or 5 visits they want to. I want to go out and see places. Then I'll really know if my decision was solid. But right now, I do know where I want to go. I'm cool with that.
Are you about to make just do your pick right now?
Well, then what happens if I go somewhere else and I actually do like them more? And now I'm pulling this whole, committed to you, but now I'm flipping on you. And
so who does this RPM thing?
Well, right now it's weighted on different things. It's there's like a myriad of factors that go into it, whether it's like how many times they visited, what your school's success rate recruiting like the state, which Texas would be, different things like that. And then if someone makes a pick, that obviously weighs into it. But LSU holds a pretty commanding lead right now, and I think it's because of what I just laid out, right? I mean, the kid's visited nowhere else in 3 or 4 months. He's talked about visiting other places, wanting to in the future, but it's been a bunch of LSU visits and then him publicly saying, I kind of know what I want to do right now.
Sounds like a pick.
And he bought the new Joe Burrow fit.
Yeah, it sounds like a pick in by Shea.
It's not in.
Me reading it's just
you can even see for free that. You go on there and click it. No picks made.
No picks made.
But I did write a story today on 3+. If you spend $1, you could read it. It has more in it than I just said.
So this might be a little off topic, but if you had 5 recruiting visits to take, where would you go, Shea?
That's on topic. Way more on topic than anything Lloyd's got going on.
Where would you?
That is very on topic, Stewie. Good job.
I told Stewie to host this thing.
Well, there's a caveat that comes with this. Like, you have to be committed to Hawaii to take an official visit there.
Wait, are you serious?
No, for real. They don't do many official visitors that aren't committed because
it gets you on the island.
Because now I'm using so now I'm gonna have to go back on what I just said. I'm gonna need to commit to Hawaii, get my visit in.
Decommit.
Smart guy.
Maybe not. At least are they cool with me taking visits from there? They better be, because
If they're not, I'm just decommitting. I'll get my 5 visits.
I want to go to Hawaii, so that's on there.
Miami. I mean, that feels like all the hotbeds are.
I mean, if I'm hitting the hotbeds,
it's Miami.
USC. Am I going to UNLV at some point here? Like, come on.
Shea didn't show up to the game.
Guys at MGM.
Yeah. I don't think he's eligible anymore.
He's actually sleeping on the Bellagio fountains right
now. He's been gambling nonstop. Southern Cal.
Tack it.
I would see him while I was. Well, I'm a lot older, so it depends on when this is happening. In this hypothetical.
Talking about now. Current visits.
So I'd still go to Southern Cal.
Same.
So I got 2.
Popping up to BYU.
Not going to Oregon. Let me see. I'm trying to think of marquee games I'd like to go to. Oh. So, like, do I want to go to, like, a whiteout at Penn State, Ohio State, or something like that I've never gotten to see before?
Right. Bucket list.
But it'd be cold.
Yeah. I'd probably still take the visit.
I mean, LSU's on the list probably.
And Miami doesn't have a great game day experience, though.
No, but you're going there for the culture.
Yeah, I'd probably go to Miami like during the summer or something.
Yeah.
Unofficial?
That'd be my June official visit,
Yeah.
right? You get those. Miami's in it. They're in. That's 3.
Arizona State.
At this point, I'm may or may not still be committed to Hawaii, but I'm making visits.
This is just NCAA 2006. Road to glory.
Hey, got to take them all.
Shea Dixon, quarterback, 6'5", 240.
Oh, man, what else do I want to say?
Pocket passer.
All right. I'll get myself up to an Ohio State game, a big game. Give me a marquee, like a Michigan.
Ohio State, Michigan?
Michigan
Sure.
State.
Sure, I'll take Ohio State and Michigan. And it could be Michigan or it could be Ohio State. Big
Either
house
way.
or
Split jersey.
this counts as just a half an official, right? I'm here for both of y'all.
I'll be back next year.
Man, I can't put LSU in here. That's we got to make it about more than that. But I would if I were a recruit. I'd want to see Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, because I feel like if the way the seasons are trending for both LSU and Tennessee, if it's a 7:00 kick, you talk about Nicholas Harbor all of a sudden being like, actually, maybe I will make it down. Like I do have that game Friday. Yeah. The game's at Saturday at 12. I can make it to BR by 7.
Do I want to go to A&M and see a Friday night?
No.
I'm not. I wouldn't.
Do I want to see a yell?
I would go. Dude, I really do think there are plants at A&M of like it's either opposing fans or it's recruits that are filming this and putting it on Twitter because there's no way it's A&M thinking this is a good idea for it to be on social.
That is like the
Kill myself.
I'd probably like if I was a recruit.
Oh
and I
no,
saw
I'm
that,
going
I'd
to
be like,
Georgia.
I'm out.
Oh.
Yeah.
See some live music in Athens. Hang out. Great campus. Good team
Great
right now.
campus. Good team.
They had just.
I can fly over
UT?
to ATL if I need to. That's where I'm flying in and out of, so I can stop a couple times around town if I got to.
Little Delta.
I'm there. Georgia.
Georgia, Hawaii, UNLV,
USC.
USC, and he's got one more official.
No, I had Miami.
Oh, in Miami. Yeah, he said all
But then
that.
I wanted to go to Ohio State. Penn State.
Maybe unofficial.
My unofficials are stacking up.
Yeah. Just paid for all this.
Spending your own dime.
And then I commit to LSU without ever taking a visit.
I've been there.
staying
I've seen
home.
it all. Yeah. I grew up on campus. Well, there's another corner. Hold on. Who's my other guy? Along with Toviano.
Beyond Rogers.
I think he committed to A&M and is still committed at this point.
Even after the
debacle.
debacle
Yeah.
of back-to-back weeks.
I think he's good. He's still committed.
LSU in play, still recruiting him?
Yeah, but I mean, I think after he decommitted and then recommitted right back to him, it's kind of like, all right.
You just hope to get one of the two, right?
You want
I feel like
you're
getting-
way more invested in Toviano right
Okay.
now. There's only 2 DBs in the top 50 of the on-3 consensus that are not committed anywhere, and Toviano is one of them. So you stay on Toviano.
All right, we have another it's semi-hypothetical
A lot of hypotheticals today.
from Heartless Burt. Ask Shea, how many 5-stars will LSU end up with in the class of 2023?
Bzz. Well, they have 2. Shelton Sampson and Zalance Hurd. They're both 5-stars on 3. I'll say 3. Because I think that eventually, right now, on 3 moved him up. DeSean Womack, their highest ranked defensive line commit, is now like the number 20-something player in the country. But we haven't expanded yet. Like, by the end of the recruiting cycle, we will have 32 5-stars. But right now, I think we only have like 21 or something. Like, I think it's kind of a process of being diligent with it and making sure that, like, once you give out a 5-star, you're not like taking it away or whatever. So Shelton and Zalance are in that group already. They're top 20 prospects. Won't be surprised once it expands if Mickens is in it. DeSean Womack is in it. So I'll say 3. But, I mean, they could always land another uncommitted guy out there, flip somebody. That it's a possibility, but 3 would be good. 3 is a lot of 5-stars.
Captain Crown says in the chat,
What up, Captain Crown?
He says, you're putting the shades on for Toviano. That's your move.
Yeah, that is. Captain Crown knows. I
Another-
got the shades right here.
Yeah, we had another great off-air conversation. Never get expensive shades.
I lose them everywhere.
Lose them everywhere. You give out too many 5-stars.
I'm
too
not
many
ready to put them
commitments.
out, put them on just yet, but soon, Captain Crown.
But there's smoke. Puff bar. Thank you.
There is smoke.
Another guy that is from Captain Crown, as Shea, Harvey Broussard.
Yeah, so he's St. Martinville kid, in-state receiver. I'm curious. They've been recruiting him, and he's part of that group that they're kind of watching as a senior to see if they make a move. They don't have an incredibly deep wide receiver room right now. They have 8 guys on scholarship that are, and we haven't even seen Ibieta yet, but Butte won't be on the team next year. You would presume not, obviously, as a junior. Jure will be done with college, so you're down to 6. You've got 4 kids, 4 right now committed. Brown, Parker, Kyprion, and Shelton Sampson. So that would put you at 10 scholarship receivers, which is enough. It's not a ton. So I think he's right there on the borderline, right? Like, could get an offer, but it might come down to the wire type of thing. Be my answer. No offer yet, but it's one to monitor. He's on the Louisiana short list for me.
Who else is on that Louisiana short list?
Backs. I think Tadarius Collins, the D lineman up in North Louisiana, is one. A lot of people are curious to see Ashley Williams as a senior. Zachary, defensive lineman. Marjavius Moss, a defensive back from Northwood up in North Louisiana. So there's probably more, but there's probably 6-7 guys. Maybe you're getting close to double-digit guys that you just want to keep an eye on as a senior and see how they look. Hell, Stewie's homeboy that he found before the show's out here running for 700 yards this weekend against Arrett. Kid picked up a Nebraska offer. He just committed to Tulane.
Gotta find his name again.
No, I think I had it open. Arnold Barnes. Arnold Duda Barnes.
Duda.
Booker T. Washington.
Committed to Tulane, but did just pick up an offer from Nebraska. And what were those stat? Let's see those stat lines we had. I got them. 381 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns against Arrett this past weekend.
How many carries?
21.
That's a lot of yards. Arrett's usually got it. Arrett ain't no pusher. I mean, I don't know how great Arrett is this year, but
it's a pretty good team.
That ain't no small ball school.
Right, and to go over
playing
300.
some actual talented kids. So keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on him. I don't know for LSU, but we'll see.
And I think we hit on this last week a little bit, but they were a couple of people in the chat asking who was actually on campus recruiting-wise for the Mississippi State game that was able to take in Death Valley Tiger Stadium CO win.
Well, we talked about the Ellis Robinson and Ricks. Let me pull up the list.
Yep, confirmed. Shea Dixon. Toviano to the boot. A big deal. It's trending on Twitter again.
No, it's not. All right, hold on.
Only if you subscribe to On3 for $1.
I'm pulling up the visitor list. All right. Tyree Adams was back. I think Tyree Adams, he's still a top 10 offensive tackle in the country, committed to LSU out of St. Aug. I think he's been to every game so far this year, including Florida State. So he was there. Ryan Yates was there, who is he's committed to him as a corner out of Texas, but he's kind of flirted with taking an OU visit, and Texas has been trying to, there's other schools trying to recruit him, but he was there, and that was his first visit this year, so that would be notable. A lot of kids for, the future were there, so, Cutter Boley, who, let me see. I had this written out.
Yeah, you said you were doing work.
Well, no, then you did your thing. I saw him on there.
Oh, the quarterback?
Yeah, the quarterback. Cutter Boley. Yeah, 4-star quarterback. But for 2025, and he's already ranked as a top 100, top 5 player. So, big name kind of to watch for the future. He's got a ton of offers already. Let me see. I do like a kid. I'll give you another one. Sandy Lewis, who is a junior right now at LCA, and Lafayette Christian has tons of kids all the time. LSU's already offered one of his teammates, Juwan Johnson, for next year. But he's got early offers from Bama and A&M. So his only 2 offers right now are Bama and A&M.
What position?
Linebacker.
Yeah.
6'2", 225 as a junior. So that'd be one I think LSU ultimately does offer. He's already been in for a couple games. So a lot of kids I'd say for the future is, when you've already got 22 commits, there's only so many uncommitted 2023 guys you can get onto campus. And we've talked about Toviano and all those guys. Right now it's just about getting all the commits back and then kind of working towards the future. So that'd be my breakdown. My thoughts on who visited. A lot of kids for the future.
Yeah, it feels like LSU's kind of almost looking past the 2023 class. It feels they feel very confident.
It's not. I mean, not like past it, but when you've already got 22, you know that you'll be in the portal a little bit. You know that you've, maybe got 5, 6, 7. I don't know. You just got to stay under 85, right? So there is no cap that they have to hit on the signing class. So it's kind of just about feeling out what the roster might look like, what final needs you need to address, and then end up with, in the high 20s of high school signees and toss in some transfers. Not as many as you don't want. You don't need 17 transfers again. So that number is going to drop by a ton. But we'll see. I bet they have 30-something kids that sign as part of this class. It's just part of rebuilding that roster. They're not at 85 scholarships now without handing them out to walk-ons. So, you still got a ways to go to build that back up.
And a couple more Ash Shades rolling in. This one from Dell. How is LSU doing with Trey Green?
Good. They've had him to campus a few times. He's a kid out of the Felicianos who is right now. He's the number 1 or 2, I think number 2 tight end on the on-3 consensus, but it's so early there. You barely,
He's raw.
Yeah, and he is very raw. But he's a kid who's got high basketball upside. So there'll be a point, like he's already got an offer from Matt McMahon and that staff, and he'll be recruited by a ton of schools. So there'll be a point where he'll have to kind of make a decision. I think make a decision on football or basketball. That's very tough to pull off playing both those.
And you mentioned the 85 is like the cap. Somebody in the chat's asking, LSU will probably have the ability to oversign. Is that still a thing anymore?
I guess oversign wouldn't be the word because you're not like capped at 25 or whatever, and you don't have to count back.
The Bama gray shirts?
Yeah, right. There would be all the counting back, and then it would be like early enrollees could count towards the previous class. Now it's just, at least right now, it's simple math. The only math is when the season starts in the fall, you have to be under 85 scholarship guys. So basically,
do whatever you want.
Whatever they end up with in the offseason, you get a feel for it, and then bring in 30 kids or something. You'll be right around that 85.
Another one coming in from LGZ. Does Tadarius Collins from In-State get a look at defensive line if LSU can't make a push for somebody?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's one I just talked about. I think that they're definitely going to be. They're definitely recruiting and still monitoring him.
I like that. Recruiting and monitoring. Dellinger has a younger brother, Cole Dellinger.
Right.
LSU have any interest in adding another, keeping the family theme whenever they try to do that with?
Yeah, I mean, they offered early on. He came to camp, but we just haven't seen much kind of traction there since. I don't know if he committed to Michigan State or if he's kind of just still keeping things open.
I mean, it feels like that's kind of on Garrett, right? Like
his name's Cole Dellinger.
I know, but the older brother is what I'm saying. Like, you got to be able to get your younger brother to campus.
Yeah, I just don't know how hard they've been recruiting him, though.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think they got their other alignment and kind of stacked up. So, yes, he committed to Michigan State in July. So, I would assume that was his other big school. So, that's probably where he's sticking.
All right. Well, if you have anything, if you want to put a bow on this thing, if you have anything else that you want to mention also.
Did I mention that it's $1?
On 3.
No, that's not the only plug you got to do. You got a little live read in there in the doc for old Lance Beal, attorney at law.
I thought you were doing all the reading.
No, they wanted it from you. Word came from on high.
We got to make it more natural than that. Let's got to talk about something else for a second.
Oh, okay.
I'll interrupt and shut it down.
So,
Stewie, what you got?
moving
Anything
on
left?
To 2025.
Whoa!
Because I've been seeing
What, your son?
I've been seeing a lot of smoke on the
These
2025.
kids are sophomores.
There's 2 running backs that I really like from the 2025 class in Louisiana.
Yep.
Jalen Nichols. Is that his name?
Is it Nicholas? Yeah.
Nicholas at Neville and Harlem Berry at St. Martin's in New Orleans. Is that the school he goes to?
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen a lot about them in the
Well,
past
Harlem
few
Berry's
weeks.
got an LSU offer.
Yeah.
And State. I think he's got a bunch of offers now.
He's a player.
Yes, he's got some big stats. He's already ranked. They put out some early rankings for the 25 class. On3 did, and he was the number 2 running back on the list. So, number 17 overall prospect. Now, they're ranking these guys off of freshman seasons, and just like not a lot of guys play as a freshman and have like a large role. So, take it with a grain of salt. But Harlem Berry is big time. I don't know as much about the other guy you were talking about.
And one more name, Colin. I don't know his last name. He's a quarterback from Florida. He plays at Trinity Christian.
Colin Hurley.
Colin Hurley.
Yeah, for 25. They already got him to campus for the Southern game. They had him at camp this summer in June. He worked out for Joe Sloan and the staff, so he'll be a nationally recruited guy for sure in that class.
61 miles per hour of football.
Of football.
Yes, he throws harder than Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, the future.
The On3 consensus has him as the number 2 quarterback. Someone put out there, it must have been Rivals. Maybe 24/7. I'm not sure. On3 hasn't yet put out rankings for 25, but someone did, and he debuted as the number 2 quarterback. So, be worth keeping an eye on that one. I had another name here. I'll give you Stewie.
Who's the dual sport quarterback that LSU's
DJ Lagway?
Yeah, I think he just nailed down his.
Yeah, he did. LSU's still in that. I would say if he stays in Texas, he goes to A&M. If he leaves the state, he goes to Florida, is my guess. He's warmed up to Florida a bit. But he's a baseball football guy, so he's very heavy onto the baseball side of things. For me,
Johnson, coach.
That's right. There you go. Did you see that number 1 class, number 1 transfer class, number 1 overall ranking probably? But, yeah, I would say A&M and Florida are trending there. Right now, LSU fans are kind of watching Julian Sayin, who is the number 2 quarterback in the country, the highest uncommitted kid for next year that's still out there. And Georgia, LSU, Michigan are in there. Georgia is kind of the team to beat, I would say. But that's kind of who everybody's watching right now. So.
And if we want to stay in the future, 2025, Keelan Moses.
He's a beast. That's Dylan's little brother.
Right.
Beast.
Does LSU have?
Great shot. Great shot.
I mean, did you see the video with him and his mom?
His mama runs his recruitment.
Did she run Dylan's?
Oh, no. Dad did.
Okay.
His dad was a big message board poster. I like his dad, but he would always get into it with fans.
Well, I would imagine that's a tough ticket to have to go to war with every day if your son's Dylan Moses, who was on the cover of ESPN the magazine at like 14 years old.
After he committed to Bama,
gets an offer from LSU. Lives
LSU
on
fans quit loving him.
Yeah, and so I hope none of that kind of.
So this is his little brother. No, I don't think any of that matters.
Keelan Moses obviously offers from Alabama, Florida, LSU, Tennessee, Texas A&M. Kid's a stud.
He was at the LSU Florida State game. He was at the Southern game. So he's around.
I'd say he's been around 5 or 6 times. So that's a guy to keep an eye on. Obviously, LSU.
Goes to high school on campus. So that
he'll be around.
I'll be around.
Well, you say it helps. I feel like.
It hurts sometimes. It does. When they've gone to school there their whole life.
It hurts.
Sometimes it hurts. Stay tuned on that front.
People are also wondering if you could buy On3 gear.
Yeah, I'll link the shop, but I'm telling you, it's pricey. I can try to pull some strings and see what it looks like. I do believe there is a shop, though. I'll find it, and I'll tweet out the link.
And one more from the chat. Phil G, I don't know if you can even answer this, but who, in your opinion, is some of the best recruiters on the LSU staff? Who are the people, obviously they have the shadow staff. I mean, I think Frank's the easy answer, but I didn't know if there's somebody.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I could go up and down the list and say what they're good at and what makes them good recruiters, but I would say that out of the gates, you have to really like what Jamar Kane's done. I mean, all 4 of his D linemen, 3 are ranked in the top 50 on 3 right now, like top 50 overall, regardless of position. But to get all 4 of them from out of state, right? Like he's gone all over the country to get them, can kind of shows that he can flex his muscles as not just wearing the LSU polo around the state and recruiting kids, but going all over. So I'd say if we're just picking one out of the gates, Kane would be has made a nice case for himself.
Yeah, obviously Polian hits the streets, does his deal.
Recruiting coordinator.
When he's not just coaching special teams, he's out there hitting the bricks for LSU football. It's good to see. Any interest in? Obviously, we talked a little bit about having family on campus. Osbury would be another name that was in a similar situation where you say good or bad that you live that close, went to U High. Any chance that you would see the older brother maybe leave Auburn and come to LSU, their need for corners? Could he be a possible transfer portal guy for next year?
I don't know. I guess you always keep an eye on Louisiana kids who, went elsewhere, and as they go through college, see if they end up developing and want to come back and if you've got spots. So never say never. But Jaden is still committed to Notre Dame too, so I don't know. We'll monitor it, but it just seemed early on like both those kids wanted to leave the state, so
take your guess.
That's when the UI hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't always help. It hurts.
Seen it too many times.
There's an example. All right, we done?
I feel like we're done.
It's my time.
Yeah, you want to go for it? I'll take it if you want it.
Nope. Lance owns and operates the law office of Lance Beal, where his practice focuses on helping small businesses grow, personal injuries, successions, and construction law. He's been a volunteer coach for various local schools for the past 9 years. You might have seen him out and about, where he's coached football, baseball, softball, track. We love multi-sport athletes. He's a multi-sport coach.
Recruits himself.
Rocking with Lance Beal.
Yeah, and I think he did like military operations too in Iraq.
Whoa.
So if you want to trust somebody that was, went to fight for the country, Lance
Stock
Beal's
up.
your
He
guy.
was in the shit.
Yeah, that man.
Stock
been in
up.
the mud. So shout out Lance Beal for sponsoring this segment.
Yeah,
Check
shout out
him
law
out.
offices of
Yeah.
Lance Beal. Appreciate
Give
it.
him a shout out. Let's see if we can get a phone number up. Contact is lance@lancebeal.com. Couldn't be
Super
easier.
easy to remember.
Yeah, good looking guy.
Beal and Aber, yeah.
If you want to give them a shout, 337-991-6263. That's the number. Get in touch with Lance Beal. He truly has a passion for defending people's legal rights. Shout out Lance Beal. Shout out Shea. Thank you for coming in. I know
You're
this
welcome.
makes your day. Get to drive across town, come hang out with me
It
and
does
Stewie.
something to it. I don't know.
Yeah, it puts a wrench in my day.
I'm here.
I
Puts a little pep in
appreciate
the
it.
step.
Hey, we got 220 people watching, so it's not for nothing.
Holler.
Yeah, if you
Shout
get,
out.
What if you get $220?
Shout
from
out
this?
Captain.
Crown.
Well, I knew that. Who's the other? Hunter?
Yeah, Hunter Fournette.
Hunter Fournette. Everyone who's active in the chat today, shout out.
And one more.
Even shout out the guy who sent us on the mystery, search for Jordan Hall in Florida.
Absolutely.
Shout
We'll
out. We
take
didn't even
it.
need a name.
Yeah.
We got you.
We can. Yeah, you don't know what's behind the screen. One more before we go. Obviously, a lot.
We're not done.
No, we're not done. We're never done. Does having Tyrann Mathieu, Leonard Fournette in the dome, like seeing that, does that still play with recruits when you have the NFL issue thing? Like we talked about it last
The
week.
NFL thing definitely plays, right? Like 100%. I think for LSU, the fact that you've now got you've bridged the gap from the Odell Jarvis PP7 era. Tyrann's still obviously kind of at the forefront of that, but he was kind of on the back end of that era. But part of that group with Odell and then Jarvis all around the same times to now Jordan Jefferson and Jamar Chase
Justin
and Joe
Jefferson.
Burrow. What did I say, Jordan?
Yeah. I do that literally every time.
Well, there's 3 of them, so I've had to go through it. Shout out the Jefferson family, but
I think there's another one in the pipeline.
no, there's not.
I feel like
No.
there is.
Remember, Justin said, "I have no more siblings." If for everyone who asks,
I think one of them has.
Ricky had a kid.
Ricky had a kid.
well, that's not tomorrow.
Well, no, but it's in the pipeline.
Goodness,
You're
Brother
at
Jefferson in the
2035. Yeah,
a lot
come
of
on.
guys who graduated college have kids. Lloyd,
No, couldn't be me.
Jai Eugene's son is a senior now. To see that that's tied in.
No, he has an LSU offer, correct?
No, but he does have Texas and some others. Like he's got some notable offers.
Do you think LSU gets in that game, or they would have by now?
I think they probably would have by now, but he'll play big time college ball somewhere.
I miss my man, Lil
Shout
Ja.
out Destrahan.
Shout out, Lil Ja. Used to see
But
him running
yes,
around
very much
campus.
that now that you've bridged the gap to that, and then like the Devin Whites on defense, obviously Tyrann's still such a big name. Tre'Davious, when healthy, is one of the best in the league, no doubt. I'm probably skipping a lot of guys. Cade York, the kicking game, for all those kickers out there.
Hey, LSU needs special teams help.
Oh, they're gone. Cade's in the NFL. Yeah, all that helps, right? Like I think it's them and Bama who are still
Yeah.
leading the NFL every year in terms of players on active rosters. So doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt. And on that note,
You high sometimes can hurt.
you high hurts.
Players
and
in the
sometimes it can
NFL
help.
never hurts.
Never
Being
hurt.
high never hurts. But
No.
You high hurts.
Yeah, you high? All right, we'll put a bow on it. That was our recruiting power hour-ish. Shea Dixon, thank you for coming in, brother. Always appreciate it.
That was an hour-ish.
That was good.
Yeah.
It was an hour.
Yeah. A lot of it's us researching it while we talk about it.
Yeah,
But that's
that'll
what
be
you
all
get. It's like it's an open book test.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than the summer when I was researching it from scratch the whole time.
I'm
Didn't
not-
even
yeah.
know what he was doing.
I actually now know what's going on.
Yeah, you started having to call people like, I don't even have this number anymore.
A lot of lifelines.
Yeah.
A lot of phone a friends.
Who's our guy?
Regis?
No, I know that.
Tackett?
No, your recruiting guy.
Billy Anybody?
No, the older gentleman,
Sonny?
Sonny.
Sonny Ship.
Yeah, Sonny.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sonny Ship. That I know. I just know that's your guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it always helps to have
You
somebody
really
plugged
pay
in with
attention to
you.
recruiting at a very fundamentally base level.
Well, see, look,
Thankfully, Stewie and I are here.
This is what happened to me. I got way too into it at a young age whenever I was living and breathing and dying by every commitment, decommitment, and then I just said, you know what?
Gotta give up.
I'm just
on
going
it.
to see who shows up on campus. And then I'm going to
Yep,
root for
lot of-
LSU
yep.
anyway.
A lot of people have done that, but there's a happy medium.
Yeah, I'm still in. Like I
You
still
have to
get
stay in.
I still get in, but I'm like,
You're
I'm-
transitioning out. You're in the portal?
I'm like, I'm not gonna take too much stock into a kid committing in
Yeah,
January.
that's where everyone needs to
before this like recruiting thing.
Be
kicks
cool.
up. Like,
don't be
you
so
know,
uncool.
Wait till he makes it
Lloyd.
to campus.
Should be cooler. Be a lot
Yeah.
cooler if you were. And if you want any more information, the little nuggets, where do they go, Shea?
The Bengal Tiger on 3, $1 for a year.
Go get that thing.
Get that thing.
I
Learn
got
something. And then you can
It's $1.
inform us in the chat. We can ask more questions. Then you get actual inside information based off the inside.
You know what? I saw that Billy on the site wrote about Jordan Hall today. So, the mystery recruit in the chat.
Oh, there we go.
The answer is already on 3. He's got some notes in there.
If you were subscribed, you wouldn't have to ask. And if you did ask, we could tell you. All right.
We did anyways.
Brought to you by Lance Beal, attorney at law. Lance Beal at Lance Beal. Shout out. Thank you. As always, Shea.
Of course.
We out.